Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Deborah Musa, and in this channel we talk about leveling up, getting our lives together, being productive, organizing things, scheduling things. So if you like this type of videos, make sure that you are subscribed. You also like this video, turn on your notifications so that you are notified whenever I upload a new video. So for today's video, we are going to talk about how to reinvent yourself. I love this topic so much. I watch this type of videos all the time because I enjoy reinventing myself. I've done it so many times in so many different ways. So I just want to share with you some of the tips that has worked for me. And with that being said, let's get on with the video. So basically, what does it really mean to reinvent yourself? It just means that you are changing things that no longer serve you in your life. It could be thought patterns, it could be how you look, it could be your social media, it could be just anything basically in your life that does not serve you. So reinventing yourself, you are creating new behaviors, you are just changing those things into things that will work better for you. Here is an example of areas where you can reinvent yourself. You can physically reinvent yourself, mentally, spiritually, socially, your social media, your hobbies, your relationship, even your location. And you don't have to take on all of these things at the same time. It's best that you choose one area of your life where you want to reinvent and like stick to it and like focus on it. And then once you are done with that, then you can continue on other things, but of course whatever is comfortable with you. So how are we going to reinvent ourselves? The first thing that you want to do is to create a plan, a master plan, a game plan, a bucket list of how or where do you want to, all the things that you want to do, all the things that you want to change. So that's very important. That's like the biggest thing when it comes to, the first step towards changing something. If you want to change into a different career, you need to write down your game plan. What is it that you want to do? In which field you want to go into? What do you need to study? Which qualifications do you need? You need to create a plan and you need to write it down. Writing down things is so important because it engraves them in your head, in your subconscious. So it's very important that you write down your plan. You write down your bucket list. I believe in writing things down because I have seen it work so many times. If I go back to my old journals and like read through things, I realized that all the things, majority of things that I wrote down have came to pass. So I will suggest that you do that. Just write even things that may seem impossible or things that may seem that this is too easy, there's no need to write this, I can just like have it in my head, there's no need to write it down. Just write it down. And tip number 2 is to try new things or try something that you've always wanted to do. Novelty is very important. I started to implement this last year. It was very small things. It was a new hairstyle. It was watching different shows that I would have never watched before, exposing myself to different type of things that I would have never went for. So that also has expanded my mind. It has also expanded the way I see myself. It has increased my value. I know things that I didn't know back then. So novelty is very important. It's so important that you try new things, you go to different places, try new foods. It can be small. I always encourage people to do things small, take things small. I used to like overwhelm myself because I would have so many things I want to do, but because of I like had this mindset that I need to take this huge step immediately, and that would like make me feel intimidated to go forward with it. Speaking about novelty, let's also remember that if you always do things the same way, you will always get the same results. So this is why it's always important to try new things. Really, you need to try different approach to life, different approach to solving problems, different approach to your workouts, to how you eat, to just like so many things. There's so many ways that you can implement novelty in your life. So just remember this, that if you do things the same way, you will get the same results. So if you want your life to change, you need to also implement different ways. You need to implement those changes. You need to try new things. And tip number 3 is to join a group or a club where people are doing the same things that you want to do. It can be a counseling group, it can be a workout group. Just having that community of people who does the same thing as you, it's so empowering, it's so motivating, it's so inspiring, because you have this community, you have this bunch of people, they have one goal in mind. So having those people around, it's so important. It will push you towards your goal. You will constantly be motivated because you are surrounded by people who have the same goal, who have the same mindset. And tip number 4, it is to take a big step. It is to take a leap of faith. In your journey to reinventing yourself, the time will come where you have to risk something, where you have to take a leap of faith, and you need courage to do that. So be ready, because that time will come where you are required to take a huge step, to take a huge risk in order to reinvent yourself, in order to change your life. I remember there was a time where I was in a toxic work environment, and I had to take a huge leap of faith and trust that I will be okay. The decisions that I am taking, it will be worth it. And by doing that, and I'm glad that I took that decision, because that pushed me into a different environment, into a new different working environment. So if I had stayed because of I was afraid of taking a leap of faith, I could have still been in that environment and it would have affected me a lot. So just remember that life at one point, it will require you to take a huge risk. It will require you to take a huge step, a leap of faith. And tip number 5 is to identify resistance and overcome it. Identify and overcome resistance. In your journey to reinventing yourself, you will come across resistance. And resistance will come in many different forms. It will come in a form of fear. It will come in a form of guilt. It will come in a form of unpreparedness. It will come in many different forms. So when it comes in your life, you will feel like, okay, maybe I don't have to do this. I think this is not a good idea. You will want to go back to your comfort zone. You will want to go back to doing things the same way. This is where you need to identify, okay, that you are experiencing resistance. This is the sign to now push on, to now be resilient and move forward and continue with your goals. Because if you give up that moment there, you are going to go back to being the same way, to doing the same things. So you need to overcome resistance, the resistance that you experience. You need to push on, you need to overcome. You owe it to yourself to overcome. You owe it to yourself to overcome that resistance, to succeed. I know that resistance, it shows itself in a form of boredom. I will feel like bored suddenly in the things, in the project, or in whatever I'm doing. That boredom for me is resistance. So I have trained myself to fight boredom. Whenever I feel bored, especially knowing that I have to go and work out, or I have to go and edit a video, or I have to go and study, but I'm just so bored, I don't want to do it. So I have trained myself to really fight through, and it's not easy. One day fighting through the resistance, it's easy. Another day it's a little bit hard. So this is why I implement things like the 5-minute rule, where I say I'm going to do this task for 5 minutes, and then I obviously end up doing it for more than 5 minutes. Where I implement things like the time blocking, where I put a certain amount of time and I only focus on those things. And I have left motivation out of the things that I want to do, because motivation comes and go. You need to fight through. You need to make sure that you fight for yourself. You overcome this for yourself. You do this for yourself, because there is nobody else that will do it for you. There is no one that will come and save you, because it is hard. It's a lot of work. It requires focus and dedication and discipline. But if you manage to do that, you will enjoy the results. You will be happy that you are at where you are, because of the decisions that you took, because you decided to change your life, you decided to reinvent yourself. So those are the tips that I have for you. I really hope this video was helpful to you guys. I know reinventing yourself can seem like a very scary thing, but I would advise you to really take it slow. Start small. Do not overwhelm yourself by taking on a big project, and you will be happy, 6 months from now, or a year from now, or even 5 years from now, that you've decided to implement these things, that you've decided to change your life. So I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure that you subscribe, you like this video, leave your comments down below, and also check out my social media, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.